Yeah, I'm in my study area. I kind of keep it, like it is. There's more
That's
people
what it
that
is.
way.
All right, peace and Black Power family. I want to welcome you to another NCRBGZ Productions. Today we got a nice treat that we're gonna be giving to the family today. Today we're gonna actually talk to a brother who has came up with his own language. And we're gonna jump right in it. So peace to the family. I want to introduce you to my homeboy, my brother in arms, Anen.
Peace and love, everybody. Peace and love. My language is called NuSHIVE3. The story behind it is, in a quick version, is people taken from different time periods and thrown into a different world. And on this world, we have to work together. And nobody has a much memory. It's just a little story. And Anen comes up with this language to bring his people together so that they can find their own way in this world. Now, this language, it's called NuSHIVE3 because NuSHI means nature in the language. Vej means word, so we speak nature's word. The name of the tribe is called the NuSHI. They are the children of nature, which is what the name means. I came up with this really for us to speak here, like at work. I don't know how it affects everybody else, but I listen to people speak Spanish, Japanese, or whichever dialect in the Asian dialects they speak. I listen to our African brothers and sisters speak their native tongue, and we don't speak nothing, most of us. Or if we do speak something, it's probably not an African dialect. It's more of a Arabic or Spanish, all of that's cool. But I would like for us to have something right here that we could relate to. I've been working with Stuart, talking with him for a few years now, and this was something I wanted to do, and he wanted to put it up here so everybody could see. So that's what we're gonna do today.
All right, that's what it is. Peace. Well, so when did you get into languages and trying to decipher languages and coming up with the idea that you want to? I know you said why you came up with the idea, but what sparked your interest to go down this lane?
For a while, maybe like 2 years ago, for a while I've been hearing brothers and sisters, complain about the English language not being our language. And, but at the same time, they wasn't trying to learn anything from another language, nothing African anyway, or create one of their own. So I decided to create one. When I first started, I didn't have the necessary knowledge I needed. So I was trying to create sound until I realized sound already existed. There's no sound that we can vocally make that don't already exist in one language or another. So I started looking at phonetic script and listening to ancient languages still being spoken from all around the world, from all types of culture, everything from Native American to Czechoslovakian, you know what I mean? And once I started to see phonetic script and read phonetic script, learning the language and deciphering what something may or may not say, it started to get easier. So, and I found it very, very exhilarating and is therapeutic. It was therapeutic for me to sit back and listen to languages. I still do it now. I'll go pull up YouTube and pull up something and listen to it just to see how it sounds and how different could I make my language from those sounds. And I enjoyed it. So that's what I did.
Okay, so that's nice, and the great thing is is that you saw a problem and you came up with a solution. That's what it's all about, being proactive, and that's the name of the game with everybody. Is let's try to be proactive and let's do something. Let's let our actions do the talking instead of our mouth doing all the talking. So that's what it is, man. So you had gave me a name in this language. Actually, before we do that, what I want to do is I want to actually, I guess you want to go to your. I pull up something and the letters and your alphabets, and you can go over them to give people an idea of what this language look like, and go from there.
All right.
All right, so give me a second. share my screen.
Thing, you know what I mean, where, you know, people sit around, at least at my job, they sit around and they talk and they try and watch what they say, and you know, they're kind of timid about what they might actually feel like they want to say. But you know, if you learn this language, you can say whatever you want, you know, with no fear, just like everybody else does in their language.
Yeah, keep talking, bro. Give me a second because I'm gonna try to pull this up, and I need to put the charger up.
Okay. I mean, I would love to see our brothers and sisters speak this, or even if not my language, create your own. You know what I mean? And the more you put out there, as far as a language goes, you'll see more people will become interested. And that was another reason I created this, because trying to give people knowledge, it wasn't enough for me because they were not receiving it. So I thought I would change tactics, like I was telling you earlier. Maybe if I can interest you in speaking this language, you might be more open to what I might have to say. Maybe we'll have better dialogue, you know what I mean? Because now we're not so much combatants in a disagreement. Now we're two people talking to something and doing something unique that doesn't have anything to do with a debate. It's about learning something together and seeing how far we could take it.
All right, yeah. Well, can you see my screen?
Yeah, I can see a screen. I don't know. Those are numbers.
Yeah. Which one you want me to go to first?
Numbers is fine since you already right there.
So let me try to zoom in. I know you can see it, but for the listening audience, let me yeah, we should let me see, make sure everybody. All right, so everybody should be able to see this on my screen. And you can start, brother. I'm just getting this computer plugged up to the start this earlier.
All right, what you're seeing right there is the English number, and beside it is the translation of what it means of that equivalent, my language. Really, numbers, the highest number is actually 9. But of course, you know, everything that you combine is going to need a word for it, like 10. So I'll go in order. 0, truce. 1, decul. 2, oxo. 3, husus. 4, bekebe. 5, asu. 6, imo. 7, gema. 8, kelush. 9, milam. 10, ehit. 11, dekulu. 12, duax. 13, haris. 14, beris. 15, aris. 16, uris. 18, kelris. 19, miris. 20, oner. 30, lenu. 40, nu. 50, akai. 60, bex. 70, zeno. 80, Winnet. 90, Valai. 100, Cult. 1,000, Rith. Million, Noose. Billion, Nalhel. Trillion, Manip. The reason I skipped from 19 to 20 to 30 to 40 is because to pronounce any of the other numbers, you would simply combine the two. Like if you were going to say 21, you'd simply say Oner Dekul, 21. Or if you were going to say 22, the same. Oner Akso, 22. So those are our numbers.
Yo, that's dope, bro. Looking at this, I'm astonished. I'm just gonna tell you, like, and I guess this is a little small introduction into your language, but I know you can get more in depth into it, and that's so 0 is truce.
Truce, yeah.
Truce.
The U makes a ooh sound. Like I don't in my language, one of the rules I have is that, since O and U can mimic each other, O never makes the U sound. O is always pronounced long, O. So U is my and U. So you would pronounce that truce. You see the two dots over the U?
Uh-huh.
That's letting you know in that particular word, it's making the U sound
Okay.
rather than .
So what are them two dots? What would they be called in the like in English, like when you dissecting words? I can't think. Are they like markers or
Yeah, it's just like how you have a long sound, you have a little smiley face for a short sound, or a straight line for a long sound. It's in the same family as that, or a little asterisk to let you know you pronounce something with an accent. That on the U is a U sound.
Okay. Because I see for two it's us. Did I?
Yeah, well, in my phone, when I was doing it on my phone, I don't have a short A on my phone, so I use that instead. But on my computer, I have a short A. But on my phone, where I did most of my work, I don't have a short A.
Okay.
But when I send it to you, you'll know it's short unless you see a straight line. If you see a straight line, it's long. But if you don't see a straight line, it's short.
Okay.
If you see like the little asterisk, it's a different pronunciation altogether. Like I'll get into that in a second when you pull up the alphabet.
Okay, that's what it is. Peace. A matter of fact, you know, now let me see if I can pull up the alphabet real fast. Um, so like man, what, do you go to school for this, or you self-taught? Like,
I'm a self-taught person, man. I didn't go to school. I didn't take a course in linguistics. What I did, I started listening to languages. And once I started listening and started reading phonetic script, I would go watch Japanese anime just to hear them sing their songs, because when they sing their songs, they put their little phonetics up there. And when you look at the phonetics, you can understand, you can relate to what they're saying, because they'll have the English translation, but they'll also have the phonetics as to the words that they're saying. And for me, that worked for me, looking at the phonetics and hearing the sound. So I was able to start relating to all languages this way. There's no language that people speak or no longer spoken that can't be broken down with the IPA sound chart. You can break all of it down using English or Latin letters, no matter what language it is, from Medu Nectar to Chaldean or whatever to Spanish. You can break all of it down this way. And for me, that was an easy way for me to learn. Like I told you earlier, I unknowingly started learning to speak Ivrit by reading the phonetics and looking at what it actually means. Anybody could do it. It's not hard. You just have to be willing to sit there and be a little frustrated with pronunciations and sound, but it's not that hard. I didn't take any course at all. I just listened and I learned and I took notes. The hardest thing at first was to stop thinking English. When you learning or trying to create a language, you got to stop thinking English, because if most people I see that ask me about it, I was like, well, create a word. Any word you could think of, they'll have a problem creating a word because they get stuck thinking English. So what I'll tell them as a trick, take an English word like name and change the way you say name. Instead of name is a one syllable word. It has one syllable, name. But if you pronounce it as a 2-syllable word, you get name. That's a whole nother word. Like awake, that's 2 syllables. But if you pronounce it awake, you got another word. You know what I mean? And for me, that started to click. I was like, okay, so now I can create my words. It wasn't hard. That was what I did. I started listening and taking notes, and I was able to start understanding a lot easier. It became easier the more I listened to just sounds. Because if you start looking at phonetic scripts, you'll see that most of the words in every language, they exist in another language. They just have a different meaning. You know what I'm saying? You might find Ra in Sumeria, but it don't mean the sun. It may mean something else. Set, dad, all these same words exist in every language. Just has a different meaning. What matters is the meaning it applies for you.
Okay, so yeah, I'm having a little difficulty. Instead of pulling up the alphabet, I want to pull up the alphabet chart before I go to your little phrases, but I'm gonna have to I think I didn't. I think it wasn't sent to the same link, so I'm gonna have to go on Facebook. So if you want to speak some of your language, you
Sure. I will. Like,
just, oh, you want to go over some of the matter of fact, this is what I do. Let me share my screen so everybody can see it. Can you see the greeting?
yeah, I can see it.
I mean, do you want to go over these or you want to hold up?
Yeah, I'll do a couple of them so you can see how it sounds. What you're seeing is NuSHIVE3, then you're seeing an English translation. The first part is a greeting. The second part is a response. So if you wanted to greet someone, you could say Shamuwa Kospa Omu, which means hello, how are you? If you wanted to respond, you'd say Vahu F Omu Alls Radenai, which means well, thank you for asking. It's real simple. You could, if you wanted to introduce yourself, like I'll use my name for an example, Shamuwa Na Imna when Anen. That means, hello, my name is Anen. Shamuwa Nam Imna when Anen. You could respond with Jaket Deb Zahet Omu Anen, which means nice to meet you, Anen. Those would be the phrases, like those would be core for getting a conversation started so you can learn the language easier. A little piece I wrote just so you can hear it in more length. It's called Original People. I put this together just a little while ago using my dictionary, but it sounds like this. Frepa es iansha kana na yes rashai. Ra iduge fre uwa reku. De chepuas winsef sur de es chayazonai, which means we are the original people of this world, and together we will rise. Our destiny is just over the horizon. I just wrote that, so it's pretty tough to say, but that's what my language sounds like. And if you want to learn it, hey, I got you.
All right, perfect, man. For some odd reason, it's not. So let me see what's next up here. But for some odd reason, it's not allowing me to go out like it did at first. So, all right. So,
I'll be getting my camera back. So on a more in-depth, conversation, I'll have it to post if you can't get it to work here. I mean, I would like for everybody to see the alphabet though.
yeah, I'm gonna get that. I'm gonna get that. Trust me, I'm gonna get that. Do you see this? Oh, you already. I think you said this. We are the original people of the world.
If anybody have questions, feel free to ask.
All right. So this one, I'm gonna stop. Look, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull it up on social media. So we're supposed to be a couple people coming in here, bro, and I just want to tell you congratulations, man,
Appreciate it.
on doing something that's like, you know what I'm saying? It shows us that anything is possible. Like we don't have to, dream about stuff. We can actually make this stuff a reality. And we can
Man,
actually get it done.
if you
And
can get people to open up their mind and stop thinking in a box, you definitely can make things happen. Like I said, man, this is like one of my dreams before I leave this earth in this form. I would love to hear somebody walk up to me one day and speak this. You know what I mean? I would love to see some little kids speak this. You know what I mean? Just to know I left this and maybe spark somebody's interest in something. You know what I mean? Other than the everyday normal stuff that we do, foolishness. You know what I mean? That's what I want. And if I could build a tribe with this, you know, that would be a great legacy for me to leave. I would love to see my dream, which is to have the NuSHIVE tribe, be real. Because if we can do that, if we have our circle, we don't have to go outside of our circle for anything we need, then we could become a stronger people. We can start to change things, but we got to first start with it with ourselves and each other. If we right now, our biggest challenge is ourselves. We get stuck in labels, we get stuck in ideologies. We can't even set that aside to work together in a place where they're killing us, harvesting us for our organs. You know what I mean? I would love to see that. And if I can do this little part to help, then that's what I'm gonna do.
And it's needed. It's needed, man. It's really needed, because a lot of times, you know, the thing about us in America as the descendants of the slaves that came to America, we are a new people. At the end of the day, we are a new people, and with us being a new people, it's only right for us. Go ahead.
You know what I'm saying? That's the symbolism in the story, that us being in a new land. You know, when I say we was put somewhere, well, on a different world, this is a different world for us. This wasn't where we were intended to be. You know what I mean? Had we been left our own vices, now maybe we wouldn't exist in the same manner that we do now, but this definitely was forced upon us. You know what I mean? In such a way that we're still facing trials and tribulations that because of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you hit it right on the head. But that's why we should be able to create our own languages. It's only right for us to create something, and that's the whole thing about being African. Information always adapts, and it always changes. You can always add on. You can still be creative. You know, that's one of the main ingredients of being God, and having this melon, having this connection with the Creator, is that we can continue to create. You know, creation is one of the biggest aspects of God. It's the ability to create. And with creation, that comes in many forms. You can create in a lot of different areas. And that's the great thing about us as being who we are. You know, and it's interesting that you create in this language, and then around the same time that you know, we're creating a movie. And this language and the movie that we're actually creating, it actually sounds very similar as far as being in our, not in our original habitat. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of similarities to it. So let me see if I'm trying to see if I can. I think I'm close to picking up. Did somebody else come in?
I thought I saw a name pop up. I'm not sure.
All right. Well,
Peace. Y'all see? Hey, what's going on?
Hey, peace, brother.
I finally figured the shit out, man. How to get on here.
That's what it is. Peace, brother. I think you muted. No, you ain't. All right, peace, guy. How you doing, man? You want to introduce yourself to the family? And you know, today we got brother Anen up here. He created his own language, and what he's doing is he's talking about his own language, and you know, giving us some words and some greetings and letters, and you know, and just introducing his language to the world that he created.
Okay. What's the name of it?
It's called NuSHIVE3, means nature's word.
Word. You got a lexicon already?
Yeah, I got a whole 3,900 word dictionary, bro.
Wow.
So, yeah, man, I've been at it hard since February, you know. I got halfway done and had to start all over again because the program I was using wouldn't let me print and wouldn't let me copy and paste. So I had to start all the way over from scratch.
You made it better. You Made it better, I bet.
It did. It gave me a chance to work out some of the kinks, you know what I mean? Because I'm learning as I go. You know what I mean? I was able to set aside to prepare for my child language that's coming after this as well. That's called New Afro.
That's dope, man. So is it similar to the Nubian language?
No.
Dr. York came up with? No?
Nah, not similar to Nuwap. Well, not to my knowledge anyway. I've only heard Nuwap maybe twice, but mine doesn't sound like Nuwap. I tried to make it as different as possible, which is, you know, kind of tough because no matter where you go, you're gonna hear the similar sounds, you know what I mean? But
Right.
as far as when you make a dialect, that's where the differences come in, what a word means. But it's as far as I've heard everything that I've heard, I don't have a no, I'm off tomorrow. I don't have a distinctive sound as far as mimicking anyone because I didn't try. I tried to make it sound as ancient as I could, but as different as I could.
Right. That's what's up, man.
Yeah, so what I'm about to do, I'm about to share my screen. I finally got your alphabets. So I'm gonna put the alphabets up here so you can see them and you know what I'm saying, you can go over them. So
yeah, I want to check that out.
All right, can y'all see it?
It said it's there it is.
There it is.
Okay, so
Oh wow.
So now and then you can go over them if you want to, you know what I'm saying, just for a quick second.
Yeah, I use 5 vowels, but O is always long. It's never pronounced short. No other letters mimic each other like C mimicking S or K. You know what I mean? I don't even have a C. I have a CH. I use 2 diphthongs and R, U. They have different pronunciations. You get a R sometimes, and then sometimes you just get regular R or R. X was a character. It's one of those more complex characters because when you say X, you're actually saying 3 different sounds. You're saying X using your so I represent it with a EXK. I mean, I'm sorry, a EKS. And X also, depending on where it appears in a word, makes a different sound. Sometimes X makes a ha sound. Sometimes it makes a Z sound. You know what I mean? Usually, if it's gonna make the X sound, they'll pair it with the E. But I didn't want that. So, like, if you say the word fox, you don't actually say X. You say X on the end of it. So I just represent that sound with the KS. So when you see KS, you know what I'm saying? So when you see that KS, you know that was broken down. I broke that down from the X character. So when you see the EKS, you know to pronounce that as X. Just the same as you would know if you see the O, you know to pronounce that as O. Like Ona or Onet. What else? What else that really stands out?
Damn, bro, this is deep, man. So what I noticed that certain letters are not in there, like letter J.
I don't have a J. I use a you see that number 3 looks like it's the
swastika.
Fifth character beside the question mark H beside the H.
Yeah.
That makes that's my substitute for the J. I don't use a J because J is another complicated character. It doesn't make the J sound always. Sometimes it makes a Y sound. I try to avoid characters mimicking others. I use a J sound. I was telling Stu, it makes a J, almost like a bee buzzing, but a J type sound. That would be, I guess, my substitute for the J. I don't use a C because C mimics K and S. I don't use I use QW. I don't use what else I'm not using up here. I use almost everything else, but definitely no C, no J, and I don't use an X because of how it is. I just break it down into EKS and KS.
And look, you know, I'm gonna tell you what's interesting about this because I study etymology, but I also had some studying dealing with what's called the abjad,
Yeah,
ABJAD, right? And the
familiar with that.
abjad
Yes.
doesn't have any vowels. It's consonant-based language. But then if you go into what's called the gematria, which is the Greek, which is the numeric value equating to each letter. I think you're right. They all make the same kind of sound. It's a slight difference. So coming from a perspective of understanding etymology, this right here is major, bro. Like you got shit on your hands right now, man. It could change a lot of stuff, man. I mean, in a good way.
I appreciate that, bro.
This is
Try
crazy.
the consonant. Some of my words I had originally just consonant based. Some of the words were just consonant, like not. I changed it to choke, but it originally was just chut, CHT. But I
Mm-hmm.
started thinking about the people that I want to learn this. And a lot of our brothers and sisters are not really, you can hardly get them to read their name written on paper. So I tried to sum it up to something more natural to how we speak now. So that's why I've implemented a few vowels. Now I'm pretty sure you're familiar with the linear A and all of that. You do etymology and that. So I started listening and I was like, okay, well, if I do that, somebody's gonna ask me about a linear A. So this is what I'll do. I'll use these vowels. Now in my child language, I'm just only gonna use A, E, and I. There won't be a O or a U. It'll just be a A, E, and an I. Those are the only vowels. Because if you listen closely, if the reconstructed versions of some of what I've heard from ancient languages, you'll hear a A, you'll hear a I, and you may hear a E. If you listen, I was listening to some Chaldean, and I listened to some Dabarai or Phoenician, and
Mm-hmm.
I could hear some vowelish sounds. That's if the reconstruction is accurate. I have my doubts about it, but that's what I had to go on.
Wow. So you got like a books, a curriculum coming out also with this?
I have literature that I'm coming out with. I'm working on my own spiritual system as well, so I have to get my philosophy book. I'm waiting on that to come in. Philosophy. It'll be based on philosophy, physics, and astrology. Those will
Okay.
be the core. Those will be the core for it. You know what I mean? Mine will be a lot of allegorical meanings. Like one of the stories I've written so far is about cancer invading the body. But the way the story is being told, you hear it from a war perspective. When you read it, you would think at first, if you don't know, you would think that soldiers are being attacked, which the soldiers are your blood cells in your body, and your body is under attack, and what's attacking is cancer. And one of the soldiers is going to a doctor, and the doctor is bombarding them with radiation and other types of drugs. So while you're reading the story, you're hearing about more so nuclear weapons. But the undertone meaning is that because the troops aren't getting their supplies, they're losing this battle. But the soldier who's using natural herbs, he's getting his supplies, so he's able to push cancer back. He's able to start beating the enemy. I have a lot of that type of literature.
Wow.
Which will be more for learning purposes. Learn to heal yourself. I mean, I started studying medicine, so now I don't go to doctors. If anything, I go get a diagnosis. But I've learned to heal myself just about anything that could happen. Other than that, so I want to implement that in my language. So I want you when you read, because that's how they did in antiquity. They wrote in an allegorical form or astrological form. So
Right.
that's what I will be presenting. I want us to be as we were or as close to it. I'm gonna try to give you that the best that I can.
Damn, bro.
Yo, that's
That blow my
good.
mind, man. I don't even know what to say. I'm just gonna listen.
Hey, look, so if you don't mind, and then what I'm gonna do, I think you got one more that you sent me that I think I'm gonna show it, and if you can see it, you can break it down. I mean, this right here. Are you able to see it? Or do I need to?
Yeah,
Can
I
you
got
see it,
right here in
bro?
front of me.
Yeah, I got it.
Because I can zoom it in and make it a little bit bigger.
Yeah, zoom it in so he can see what it looks like written in that alphabet, in my alphabet.
I don't think.
I have my alphabet made into a font so
I
that I
got
could
it.
actually.
I blew it up on my phone already. I see it.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It looked like
That's what it looks.
it looks like some type of weird computer coding.
Oh, that's a different one. Everyone else, people will say, "Oh, that looks like hieroglyphics." I'd be like, "There's no
Nah, that
pictures."
looks like hieroglyphics.
Nah, I did it based on ancient alphabet. You know, I did it based on what we call Phoenician and some of my own little spin on ancient languages. But that's what the language looks like written. You know, but beneath it is that's the phonetic script for what that says, and then you have the English translation. So once you learn the language, all you're gonna see is that alphabet when you see it written. And that's what you'll have to learn to read. There won't be any phonetic script for
You
you.
got
You
some
know what I'm saying?
dangerous stuff, brother. You got some dangerous stuff, man. Because one thing that has kept people, you know, bound was the language and not understanding the language. I tell people all the time when they talk about slavery in America dealing with so-called black people, when they said the slaves couldn't read, it wasn't they couldn't read because they were dumb. It just nobody taught them the language. Nobody
Exactly.
taught them the English language. So if you don't know the language, of course you can't read anything. Like this right here, like I can't read this. I'm not
Nah.
slow. It's just when you learn the language. So now that you have your own language, man, you could change a lot of stuff, bro.
That is the intent. You know, I've been told to be careful. You know what I mean? Because this
Yeah, you
is
got to, bro. It's dangerous, man.
that's what I've been told. Be careful. You know what I mean? So this isn't for everybody. This is for the like-minded individual. You know what I mean? Who wants
Right.
to be in that circle of people that want to come together and work together. Because that's the only thing I want, man. Us to work together. I don't give a fuck what you believe. If it helps you be a good person, believe that shit. But at the end of the day, all we got is each other. Let's work together. You know what I mean?
That's what
A
I
lot
say,
of
man. I tell brothers all the time, like I don't give a fuck if you pray to the mailbox. That's fine, but when you get up, we got work to do.
You know what I'm saying? That's the only thing that I can't get people to see. You know, look, bro, it doesn't matter what you believe. If you believe in Allah, until that motherfucker show up, all we got is us. If you believe in Yahweh, until that motherfucker show up, all we got is us.
Facts.
So
You
let's
know,
set all of that over there to the side and let's work together.
you
So
know,
maybe we can get some people to pick this up or make their own. If somebody else create one, shit, I'll learn it. I don't care. I'll learn it. If it'll help our cause, I'll learn it. You know what I mean? If this right here can help, then I'm all for it.
you know, that's why like with our organization that we have, like we tell you leave your religion at the door. So we got Christians, we got 5%ers, we got everybody in our organization because we leave the religion at the door, man. As long as you're trying to uplift black people and help us get ourselves in a better situation, it's all love. So like I was telling when you first told me about this language, man, it's like I already understand the ramifications and the possibilities of having it. And like I said, I'm gonna do all I can to try to get it out there, man. So you know, I
You
really
set up. I mean, I would like to see at some point you maybe set up a like a study hall once or twice a week. We can all just tune in at a certain time, like maybe Thursday, 7 o'clock, whatever the case is. We all just tune in and you hold a school of instruction and you teach this shit for the next couple months. And maybe by spring of next year, a few of us can learn and start speaking it and start writing in this language. But I'm interested in learning this shit. I mean, I'm a huge fan of learning different languages. I love it.
Hey, man, I can do that, man. I'm off on Thursdays. I can do that. Like I said, I'm just finishing up, bro. I just finished the dictionary. Just finished it. You know what I mean? So all I'm doing is my final edits and writing my writing literature. You know, first it'll be easy. Because I'll send you the whole dictionary, right? So when I do, teach it, you'll have it right there in front of you so you can see. You know what I mean? We'll start small. We'll grow together with it. We'll start with
Yeah.
greetings, and then we'll start with small literature. You know what I mean? So
Right.
It's not hard. It's not gonna be hard at all. I think the hardest thing will be remembering the characters. You know what I mean? I got more characters than the English alphabet, but they ain't nothing. They ain't nothing to somebody that want to learn. And like I was telling Stuart, man, it bothers me, man, when I hear people speak their language and all we speak is nigga. That's it. It bothers me.
Right.
It really bothers me. So this is what I'm
I'm still doing it, but I'm teaching myself Arabic and Hebrew.
You
And
know what? Check out Chaldean. If you really want to hear something interesting,
oh yeah,
Chaldean. Have you heard it? Or Neo-Syriac?
Yeah.
That's exactly where Arabic came from. And
I tell people all the time who are Hebrew Israelites, whatever the case was, because the faith itself is based off Abraham. And I said, well, Abraham was a Chaldean. Do you know about the Chaldean language in the city of Ur? And they were like, nah. I said, well, shit. There's no such thing as Hebrew language itself, but it's Chaldean. That's what it is.
Bro, I used to, man, Stuart tell you, man, I used to rip them dudes a new ass with that in debates. But as far as this language goes, if you listen, right? Matter of fact, I was looking at a video today of a guy that said he was a Chaldean, a descendant of Chaldeans. Now he said he was from Iraq, southern Iraq. So I'm gonna give you a guess as to what nationality or culture this brother belonged to. He damn sure was black. Yeah, he was an Arab. And I try to get them brothers to understand, look, the time period that you're talking about, bro, there are still black people or black African colored people in these areas, but they're not the dominant culture there anymore. After the Ubaid people faded away or transformed or got absorbed into the population, bro, these people are not black. They are not black people. If you look at the Syriac or the Nabateans are Arabs. So when you listen to Neo-Syriac or that, these people are Arabs.
Now, Dr. Booker T. Coleman taught that those people in the area are called, not to write it out, but it's called Tajectanine or some shit like that, which is an amalgamation.
Oh,
and when we say Arab, all we're saying is a nomad. Like the word Arab means a nomad. The real name of those people in that area is Bedouin, a Bedouin or a desert dweller. The name for a mover is an Arabia. That's a car, Arabia, one who moves. So when we say Arab, we're saying Bedouin, which is a nomad, a desert person. It has nothing to do with nationality or race or color, creed. It's just a person that lives in the desert and moves about the desert. Like in America, we say a nomadic people. So you would say Arab, which is a nomadic people, not a color or race, not that shit at all.
Right. It's more of a culture. You can eat it, you can speak it, so it's more of a culture. But it's called again. Say what is it's a Bedouin?
Yeah.
Bedouin. I'm gonna have to write that down. I'm gonna have to write that down.
Dr. York,
now I got a couple new WAP brothers, man. One of them, he's a little older than I am. He sat at the table with Dr. York. So me and them brothers, we talk.
Yeah, it's a couple old heads around here in Virginia Beach that actually was with Dr. York up in New York or whatever the case is, who talked about how he taught the different languages. He actually had 3 different languages out. I don't know the name of them, but the Nuwapian language was a language he developed when he moved to Georgia, to Edison. But he had developed 2 other languages besides the Nuwapian language.
Yeah, that's what I was telling Stu earlier. He asked me if I had seen the alphabet, and I was like, yeah, I knew he had a couple different dialects. He had Now I don't know him. Now my man is supposed to give me a book. I've been getting this book now for like 5 months, 6 months. I ain't got it yet, but I'm supposed to get this book from him so that I could see, you know, how that language is the word structure, the language pattern, and all of that. You know, so I'm definitely gonna check it out.
Yeah, the elder Ramesu supposed to have been up here, but I guess he might have got a little busy tonight. But he's supposed to have been up here because actually, how we planning on implementing this language is we need the brother Ramesu to actually be reciting some of it when we going through the ritual. You get what I'm saying? So, but maybe
all you gotta do, man, is give me what you want. Whatever the script is, give me that, man, and I'll translate it for you, man, and you'll have it, man, and I'll go over it with you, teach you how to say it and everything, man. Because biggest difference is, I mean, I would love to hear it. I would love to hear somebody else speak this to me. Because I've not heard speaking except outside of myself. I would love to hear what that sounds like coming out of somebody else's mouth.
So look, on that same note, man, this question. What's the greeting in that time?
Oh, a greeting?
Yeah.
Oh, it's like you wasn't on a minute ago.
Let me show. I'll go to it for you. All right. Can you see that? Or you might need to zoom in on your phone, brother.
Hold on. Let me what screen is it?
Oh, hold on. Let me share my screen down.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah.
Yeah, let me share my screen.
All right. Yeah, I got it.
Greeting one, you could say, Shamuwa Kospa Omu, which means hello, how are you? You could respond with Vau eth Omu Oz Radenai, which is well, thank you for asking. Another greeting is Shamuwa Na Imna Wen Anen. Hello, my name is Anen. Jake Dev Zehet Omu Anen, which is nice to meet you, Anen. Those are like just a little couple greetings you could say.
I'll tell you what I just got. Shamu. Hello.
Yeah, Shamu all day.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, Shamu.
Shamu, everybody.
Yeah, man, it's not hard. I would go over what you would just simply say, Shamuwa. That's one word.
Shamuwa.
Yeah, Shamuwa.
Shamuwa.
Quos pa omu. That's hello, how are you? Vau. That's a case where that's a diphthong. Is VAU. Vau.
Vau.
That's how you.
That's well.
Yeah.
Well, Vau.
Yeah, Vau. Eth is thank you. Omu is you. Alz, ALZ. Radenai. Well, Radenai is the Adenai. The I and I is a suffix. The base of it is rod. That's ask. To ask is you would say rod. But if you're asking, you would say Radenai.
Now, I'm gonna play devil advocate for a second and ask you this question, because I know that we're putting English explanation points and question marks at the end of this language, which
no, that's not how sentences start and end. When you ask if Stuart, if you could go back to the one with my language written on it.
With the numbers? With what?
Not the numbers. The largest piece of literature you have with it has the written language, the phonetics, and the English translation.
I got you right here. Right here.
Yeah, right there. You see that right there? If you could zoom in on it, right? You see how the points on the end? That's how you start and end the sentence. There is no question mark. There is no question mark. There is no period. There's none of that. You simply state. If you're asking a question, that is what it is.
Now,
You're
you know
gonna
what?
know
I'm
you.
following what you're saying. I'm following what you're saying. But now, what's happening right now, and I'm gonna be honest with you, what's happening right now? My mind, because I've been taught a certain way, because I'm 37, so 12 years of being taught about constructing verbs, run-on sentences, and where to put your periods, where to put your question marks, and parts of speech, adjective, pronouns, construct. That shit is playing in my head right now, and my mind is having a hard time. And that, so this is the barrier that
Remember
we
what I
gotta
said
get
earlier?
past.
Remember what I said earlier? You have to stop thinking English.
Mm.
Remember when I said that earlier? You have to stop thinking English. That was one of the toughest things for me to do, because I'll tell you, everything that I thought was wrong with the English language, I did away with. Everything that I could think of that I thought was wrong, I did away with it. There are no silent letters. There are no letters that mimic other letters. There are no what else is there that I thought? I've debated contractions. You know what I'm saying? I've debated that. I've debated contractions, and it's tough not to use a contraction sometimes, because it would make you extend the conversation or the sentence longer if you don't use a contraction. I've debated that, but everything that I thought that was wrong, I did away with.
And look, let me get everybody to mute their mics. Okay, there we go.
My bad.
Are you good? You good, bro?
Okay.
Oh yeah. I tried to do away with everything. I feel exactly where you're coming from, brother, because I had the same lessons you learned as far as speaking English. But once I taught myself to stop thinking English. Yo, NuSHIVE3 is not English. This is not English. This doesn't have anything to do with the English dialect. I am only using these translated words. So I get exactly where you're coming from. So I didn't, as far as my punctuation goes, I tried to keep it simple. This starts and ends the sentence, whether you're asking a question, whether you're using exclamation or whatever. The only time you might ever use something like that is if you wrote it out phonetically. But as long as you're reading NuSHIVE3 in my actual alphabet, that's what it is. You start the sentence that way, you end the sentence that way, you ask a question that way. I put dashes in between so that you would know that that's a separate word. I tried to keep that as simple. Now, you would have to pay attention to the characters, because some of the vowels you have long and short versions, and some of the characters you have different pronunciations. That'll be the only thing you have to worry about. Other than that, it's simple and straightforward. You don't have to worry about all of the stuff in English. You're just gonna say what you mean right here. There's no words that sound the same that mean something different. None of that is in my language. Like there and there, they're two totally different words. Period. Like and there's no words that like no, like you know something. No doesn't start with a K. We're talking. This is English. English is stupid. The word is no. If it's like you know something, but they spell it with a K. K-N-O. No, that's not in NuSHIVE3. You're gonna use an N. You're gonna use the N on for that.
Okay, bro. And look, what we would have to do, what we need to do, Anen, is set up a second show so we can get you to go further in depth, because this was just supposed to be a small introduction into it. And you know, I had a time limit to the amount of time we was gonna be up here. Yeah, and I done reached beyond that point. So what I do is I want to give both y'all the opportunity to tell people where they can follow you at, how they can get in contact with you. And what we'll do is we'll schedule another show. Since you say you're off on Thursdays, next Thursday, the first Thursday coming up, if that's okay with you, and where we can go into more depth into the language, and actually, if we actually going to learn it, we're not going to go live. It ain't meant for everybody, you know what I'm saying?
Like I said, it's ain't for everybody, man. This
Yeah,
is
but
brothers and sisters that wanna, like-minded.
yeah, so what we'll do is we can set up another show though, so you can go further in depth in case brother Ponder Air want to come up with some questions or something. You know what I'm saying? We can politic, but I'm gonna give you opportunity to tell people where they can find you on Facebook, social media, whatever, and then we're gonna end the show. Brother Ponder, you can start first, and then I'm gonna let you end the show.
All right, thanks for having me on, man. This is mind blowing, but you can find me. Literally, you can Google chef. See, I got my chef jacket on. You can Google Chef J Ponder. I'm all over Google, everywhere. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, all my social media handles with Chef J Ponder. Follow me, man. Check me out. Definitely continue to tune in and support this program because I'm coming back on this show 100 more times. You know, so yeah, that's it, man. I'm excited.
Well, that was nice to meet you, brother. Nice to meet you. I'm easy to find, man. I'm Melvin Rankin on Facebook. On Instagram, I'm Anen Sasha. Easy. Just follow me there, and you'll see I make jewelry. And if you need to get in contact with me, shoot me a message, and I'll hit you right back. And thanks for having me on, Stuart, man. Yo, I don't really have a lot of people to talk to about this, you know what I mean? Because most people think I'm crazy. So I really appreciate being able to come on your show and talk.
All right, no problem, man. Peace to the family, and I look forward to talking to y'all brothers and building with y'all. You know, we're going to move forward. So maybe next time I know my name so I can tell y'all what my name is in the language. Peace.
Amunake. All right, peace.